thank you a lot for being here today. As we gathering to pay respect and also celebrate the life of our beloved friend, Trent Tracy Jr., who have just finished his 63 journey. And now I believe he already in good hands for many beautiful angels, and that he's now big size of angels. Okay, so sorry, Trent, for teasing, because you are the guys who all the time love teasing people, but at the same time he loves to be teased as well. Okay, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Wu, a friend of Trent and his partner here. It's my honor today to be the moderator for Trent event today. I believe every one of us have a very good memory and experience with Trent. We are here today to remember Trent of all the joyful, all the happiness that he brought to our life. Yeah? So I believe we all have our own memory, experience, up and down time, experience, exchange information with Trent a lot. And then I would invite you all to use the time to say something quietly to him. Okay? Those of you who are believers may care to take this time to pray, or simply to take the time to reflect the meaning of Trent's life that he has for you and your happiness time together. Please spend 1 minute of silence to pay tribute, to pay respect to Trent. So if possible, and if you are able, please stand up.
I'm going to speak directly to you. We were supposed to have a long time together. We were supposed to be able to talk a lot more. And I was supposed to make some confessions when I got older. When I wouldn't get in trouble anymore. We're going to have consequences. Unfortunately, I have to share them here. When we were about 10 years old, maybe 11, and we lived in Guangzhou, my mom was traveling, so my dad was home alone. He was working one Saturday. Sabrina and I, our energy is a lot to handle, especially at that young age. I'm not sure he always knew what to do with it. So, I can't remember what happened, but we were sent to our rooms and we were grounded for the rest of the weekend. About 30 minutes later, while you were still working, we decided, hey, we're gonna go ask Dad. We're like, Dad, is it okay if we go to Kira's house? And he said, yeah, go to Kira's house. And for that, I'm sorry. We ran down the street and we had a sleepover that night. The grounding didn't last very long, and we took advantage of that situation, and I apologize for that. Secondly, this one is quite bad. You guys traveled a lot for Sabrina's sports, you and Mom, and you would leave Zach in charge. And Zach was supposed to watch us, Sabrina, my mom, my dad. They would leave on Thursdays for basketball, volleyball. It was APAC sports. And after going to school Thursday, Zach would come out Friday morning and ask me if I wanted to go to school. He said, "You don't have to." I said, "How are we gonna get around this?" Mind you, he's the older brother, and I would always take his lead. And he said, "Leave it up to me." He would call the school, pretending to be you, and call us out for the day. Typically, Zach would then leave that night, and I would not see him all weekend, and I'd be left home alone. He would make it home by Sunday, and we would pretend like he took care of me all weekend. And for that, I apologize. And I can no longer get grounded for that. And regarding APAC as well, there was one weekend where my mom was traveling with me to Beijing for my swimming, and my dad was traveling with Sabrina to Hong Kong for her basketball tournament. Our parents were not on the same page about who gave money to who. So, my mom gave money to Sabrina, and then it turns out my dad also gave money to Sabrina. Sabrina did not inform either one of them that money had been given, and so she lived it up in Hong Kong that weekend, buying fruit for everybody on the team, and enjoying the best of that. So now, those were confessions I was supposed to make in person. And tell you those stories and laugh about them and enjoy them. But we don't have that time anymore. You taught me a lot growing up. You taught me a lot about work ethic. You taught me a lot of what it's like to be loved and how to love and how to listen to people. And I've always wanted to mirror myself after your work ethic. And anyone who has ever commented on how great my work ethic, I always tell them it's because of my father. You taught us what it was like to show up and be there for people. And you taught us values. To show up endlessly, no matter what, and in whatever fashion you could be there for people. And for that, I am so thankful. A lot of these people are in this room today because of that. And I want to thank you.
We invite Trent brother Rob here to have some words with Trent and all the visitors.
I'm here with you. Born February 3rd, 1962. My grandparents would come to North Dakota, be with us in Montana. My grandmother, my mom and my dad went to the hospital, having to come for delivery. My father, my grandfather, and I went to play checkers. We got a call about 7, 8 o'clock saying, "You got his other," and I'm going, "Oh God, you know, he just ruined my life." Yeah, he continued to do that forever. There was one time we had a cat. And, sorry for that. But we had scared the cats from the woods to downstairs and come back upstairs and play for the cat. I was trying to down the stairs down the touchy board. Really what a touchy board. Simply like 100 years. You're ready for dinner. I'm trying to go, I want to go with you guys to take care of this problem. So my uncle and I and my cousin Trent all walked out to the barn. And love that right there. And big sun. Go from there. Picked up around the shut his head, the big fellow fell down, and just started walking, I hate you. And he ran from the house, from the barn all the way to the house, going, I hate you. He wasn't prepared for that. He wasn't prepared for a lot of things. He was going for it. I'm so proud of him.
Trent's first cousin, and he's kind of like my brother. I'm not going to kick the place or Ralph or anything, but we did a lot of things together. And if I started telling you some of the stories, we wouldn't get out of here. But one word that came to my mind when the girls asked me to say a few words was charisma. You know, I see a lot of people nodding their heads, knowing Trent, what he did and how he did things. Charismatic. He had a way of magnetizing people to come with him. Let's be a team. Let's get this done. And I know his mom, my dad, who were brothers and sisters, got a little bit of that, I know, from their parents, because there wasn't a give up. Every year, Trent and I would bet on the Miami Dolphins, and of course, the colors we see here today with the Denver Broncos. And every year that he would win or I would win, it always would be double or nothing, double or nothing. Well, that went on for 6 years. Pretty soon, we didn't even remember how much of what we bet and how much we owed each other. So we would write it off and just start that over again. So we had a lot of friendly competition with that, but I learned a lot from him. The things that I learned was honesty and to talk to people, tell them the truth. The truth isn't always what we want to hear, but it's the right thing to do. We talked a lot about God, talked a lot about faith, and I think he's in the right place. He's probably having a cup of coffee with his mom and dad right now. And good for him. And I'll see him. I'll see him again. And I hope you guys do too. And I want to thank you all for being such a great cousin. Although you think my jokes sink. Trent knows this, and he told me that many times. And the girls, well, pleasure watching you all. Your dad, this is just a wonderful situation that we can come from, myself from North Dakota, from the USA, to see the welcome that we receive. And we want to thank you, Malcolm, for that, and everybody else for this wonderful people. It's so nice. And I know it's because lot because of this guy behind us here and his soul. And thank you for everything.
Hello, thank you for coming. I wrote everything out, I can't it like that. And speaking of miracles, definitely not my forte, so everything. Trent and I met in college at the University of Northern Colorado, and we lived on the same floor my freshman year at the dorm. It was in college that Trent, in case you didn't notice, is very extroverted, and he chose a very introverted person to connect up with. And Trent, in case you also didn't notice, is very good at remembering people's names. So if I met you, today, please accept my apologies. Sorry. Trent chose me to take a very long ride journey making friendships. It meant a lot and stuff. And so for that, I'm very thankful. We moved around a lot in our 30 plus years together. Starting our life together in Colorado, we set our sights on New York City as a common goal. And from there, we had no idea that our journey, though it wasn't always easy, would take us to places that were near, like visiting family in North Dakota, Arizona, California, to living in different places, not only within the United States, New York City, Pennsylvania, Oregon, and then on to living in more far-flung places like Hong Kong and China and Vietnam. During this time, we weren't just busy making lifelong friendships, but we were also growing our family. Zach, our oldest, was born in Hong Kong, while Zoe and Sabrina made their debut in Oregon. These are just the places we resided. Trent's business travel was far wider, from the UK, where his parents gave him his first taste living abroad, to Italy and Mexico and Indonesia, and only he knows how many other places that I can't begin to recall because his business took him everywhere. All along this journey, Trent not only gathered people, he connected people together, creating a beautiful tapestry of family and friends that are interwoven. This today, the service that we have in Colorado, is a celebration that only Trent can pull off. Look all around you, look at the people next to you. Trent's unwavering, personal, and unspoken commitment to stay in touch and leave no person behind. You all brought so much joy to his life, I have no doubt that he reciprocated that joy back to you as well. A common thread in this tapestry of his life that I've heard over and over these past days is that Trent stayed connected, kept in touch like no other person in each of their lives. I ask that in honor of Trent and the friendships he built and maintained, that each one of you would make a point of picking up your phone every week to connect and to reestablish a friendship that you enjoyed many years prior, to forge new friendships and bring others together to grow and spread the joy of human connection. This is what Trent brought into our lives and to the world. Let us not let his passing go without taking that from which he gave us and benefited from. Thank you all for coming today, for standing alongside Tweed and myself and our family as we mourn and yet celebrate Trent's life together. Thank you very much.
As a friend with a straightforward, he loved can and flower unconditionally, and super picky in terms of hygiene. So we try to capture all the great moments that we spend together, right, which we will carry along the way with Trent. to invite one very close friend of Trent to share some words, some experience, some sweet memory as he had with Trent. Please welcome Juan. Thank you.
Hello everyone, very nice to meet your family friend for once. Firstly, the brother is Stephen. My name is Juan. I think I'm here today at two capacity. One, on behalf of Adidas, who trained and raised company for 10 years of this life. And there's a lot of ex-Adidas colleagues in this room today because of his relations with Adidas. And then more importantly, my husband and I came here today to celebrate Trent's life as a personal friend. I know Trent since 1999. I think we met in Portland. I was very junior. And he manager then, and Trent was already quite a pretty big senior. And he had some of his very OG team member here, Brooke, Marco. Really nice to see you here. And as many of you have already asked for the family member, Trent is a man of value. He has deep value, deep faith, very honest, unapologetically authentic about what he stands for. And from the day one when I came into contact with him, we clicked right away. He was very tough, but he was extremely fair. And I not only learned from him in all 3 years in Portland, I continue to learn from him for the rest of the almost 30 years that we become basically a personal friend outside of work. We coincidentally ended up in Guangzhou in 2002 together. And that's where my husband, Lou, and I have the privilege to have met Shelley, Zach, Sabrina, and Zoe. You have all at my baby shower. We went to New Zealand together, and yes, you two are a bunch of energy, twins. So thank you for being a big part of my family. We moved away from Portland as a couple with no kids, and we have 2 kids in between. And you are almost a family away from home. My husband and you to pray on a Sunday, and we say we look up to the same families and the foundation of a family that have big faith and a family that we want to raise by ourselves. Most famously, even though we moved away to Hong Kong much earlier than they are, we were kept upon to return to Guangzhou to join their famous Thanksgiving dinner. The aroma of baking the evening before, and how Trent insists on having guests waiting until 9 p.m. before we can even cut the turkey, because we decided one year that it needs to be a smoked turkey. Remember that, Shelley? It had to be a smoked turkey. It was, you were really pissed off. It had to be perfect in Trent way, and then all the other food were cold. But I always remember the smell of this pecan fox pie. I was in Vegas off the We followed you guys. You crossed your extra around Vietnam a couple of times even for the Thanksgiving in Vietnam. I also met the lovely Kevin around the family as well. And I think that connection and that ability for him to keep in touch with people all 3 years is amazing. We move on. He moved on. But at some time we got reconnected again in 2017 with my dear friend from Adidas as well. We didn't know that they got connected, and since then we become really good friends. So I just want to say, Trent, thank you so much for being a part of our life, for being who you are, absolutely, authentically, unapologetic, and I hope you enjoy now that we arranged for you today, because typically for funeral, we have to pick wine, right? And I asked my husband, you know, you think the family gonna get mad if we arrange Bird of Paradise for Trent, because I know that's his all-time favorite flower. And so we go like, you know what? Trent is always have a great sense of humor, and I'm sure we'll be having a kick if we show up among the sea of white flower. Where a Bird of Paradise, and if you see there, Boo also put a note. Boo actually become Trent personal assistant when it comes to all things IT. Because he loves his NFL sport, and he doesn't know how to manage all these things, so he has to call Will anytime, and whenever they get on the phone, the first thing will be, hey, Trent, what's up? And the thing that Trent will say will be, just sitting here, naked, looking pretty. That's their exchange of notes between Will and Trent all of the last 20 odd years. That's the Trent that we know. And that memory that you gave to us, Trent, will ever gonna be a loving memory. Thank you so much everyone for coming here today. And I'm so privileged and so honored to have called the Zeh family as family friend. And with you also, AT, for the last many years as our lifelong friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some story. I went for 8 years. For the past 15 years, I worked with closely against my mentor, Brent. He taught me a lot, not just technical stuff, or yelling at me for being too technical about any of our commercialization. But he taught me everything that he had to know. He's a great man. He's charming. He always joked about stuff. I'm sure he's going to enjoy being there. I just wish I can deliver some of his favorite drinks to him. Maybe I'll just drink them myself. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And rest in peace. I've been super busy during the past few days a week when Trent is not in a good condition. So please welcome Juan Proctor to share the words.
So, hello everyone, my name is Juan. So, I was very emotional when I was studying and Jason and my but I tell myself, like, so this actually, there is only another day. That I know Trent person fully 10 years ago. So we met the first time in person, but honestly, the first one interview for me put Adidas to practice. And we met in the Novotel Hotel. Yeah, just another day. So, thank you, Rob. And again, I come here and I just want to say thank you for everything. For everything that friend you and I are doing together in the last 10 years. I mean, for both of life. So, for work is extremely tough, very aggressive, but very friendly. He tried for the business, taking the company priority over anything, and then to drive for this decision. A very good, talented, and leader. I mean, a very good lead to sample to show people and driving for the business. So, I mean, all of that, with that respect, I love a lot. I can understand how the business apply and understand big picture. Anything is a good teacher for me to work. And also, life. He's so humorous. Always. Sorry, James, but he always joke on me whenever he see me here in Vietnam. He call me, that is you. So, So I was with him on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then until Thursday, you know what, when I beat him going to the hospital, he was laying in the bed. He still ready to open his eye, we open his eye, and we were saying, and he said, I know you are, and this choose John Campscout. Second time, he has opened their eyes and said, Campscout. And the third time, said, no, you wrong. Open your eyes and go, John Campscout. Smile. You know? Anyway, so, a very good guy, good friend, humorous, job on people, make people confused, but at the end, as he talk with people very openly and then he like people. So, anyway, I hope that you rest in peace, put on respect and love people, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming, and then be strong, we with you. We love all. Thank you.
Thanks Mark for all the things that you have done for Trent. Just a secret to share, Trent loved Juan a lot, right? Except one thing, that man had a trick with him. So whenever we gather together, Trent even didn't ask me a word. He will come to the counter and make a cocktail for me. So many kind of cocktail. For me, Trent is kind of like cocktail suppliers, with some kind of quality just goes on. Sorry, Trent. So another one to share the good memory with Trent will be my Octoman, please.
See everyone here. Today is a celebration of life. And I'm honored to be here to share. Get through this without meaningful Trent in my life, I first met Trent at December 2002 or something. I didn't get to know him really until we moved to Vietnam. This is the time that Trent and I could share this. Trent was the first to welcome me to Vietnam in 2018. He had been here several years and inside knowledge from moving to the country for some time. Trent was there for that. Trent was always there. As a friend, colleague, a resource, he was always there. Trent was fond of saying we were born in the same hospital in North Montana, which we were. We had some fun with that, especially in the small world. Two guys born in the same hospital in a small town in Montana. Living and working together in Vietnam 60 years later. There must be something to fate. Trent and I had a lot in common. Born in the same hospital, as I said. Our families farmed and ranch. The side of his family in the oil and gas business. My family is involved in the oil and gas business, and of course, the oil business. Trent and I became fast friends, very naturally with everything we got. There are no great stories or funny stories I have to share with Trent other than our special connection. Trent and I would often have a beer together after returning from factories at the end of the day to share our day and listen to each other, talk about life, perhaps do something.
often asked if she could join. I think that speaks to the kind of guy, a great person. A dear friend, a dear drinking buddy that your wife wanted to join. In my book, is a very special person. As our friendship grew, Sonny and George became part of this greater friendship. Together we had a lot of fun and simple things. Has anyone who has ever been to their home for dinner will attest? Sounds like it started a long time ago. Elaborate spreads. It's an amazing thing. Not simple things, but big things. We're talking prime rib, lobsters, paella, cassoulet, special holiday dinners, things that I've never heard of. But then there was the pizza phase. It was amazing too. One time there were 8 different pizzas that you want to take a small slice of every one. They just seemed to keep coming. It was pizza. As simple as that may seem, these are very true. Other times we'd often have dinners out together. We had many memorable times with Trent that we will always forget. So you can see we had a simple and meaningful friendship. Not the friendship I will always treasure. These are some of my most cherished memories. Along the way, what I learned about Trent is that he is kind. Loving. Generous. Honest. Humble. Intelligent. Committed. He's a true friend that will be yours. Trent. Love you. We miss you. We'll always have you in our hearts and cherish the time together. God bless you.
I first met Trent in 1998 in Portland, working for Adidas. As Americans say, Adidas. And over the years, we stayed pretty close. When I came to Vietnam in 2018, the same year Michael Sunny, I found out that Trent and Tweed lived 5 minutes away from me. So I spent quite a lot of time having dinner at their place. It was always amazing food, always amazing conversation, and good friendship. After Trent passed away, Trent was on my mind as he was for all of you. And Trent was a good friend of mine, and he meant a lot to me. So when Tweed asked me if I could just put together a few words, I said, of course, I would be happy to. And I was at my office, at the computer, and the words came out in just a few minutes. And I sent them to Tweed. And I'm very honored that she asked me to recite what I wrote today. Today, we gather to celebrate the life of a truly remarkable friend. a man whose spirit and joy for life touched everyone that he met. Trent was a true Colorado soul, rooted in the mountains, yet his heart knew no borders. He carried with him a love for the Denver Broncos, always ready to cheer them on, whether from the comfort of his home or out with his friends. His loyalty to the New York Yankees was just as unwavering. No matter where he was, that team was a part of him. And let's not forget, he loved politics. And he would let you know his point of view, even if you didn't ask him. But it wasn't just these things that defined him. He had an unshakable passion for the finer things in life. A good whiskey, a perfectly cooked meal, and the kind of country music that spoke to his soul. And perhaps what many of us will remember the most was his love for Vietnam and his beloved Tweed. This is a place that became his second home. His stories about life here, the people, the culture, food, showed just how deeply he appreciated the world and its diversity. Trent lived fully. He laughed loudly and he loved deeply. His zest for life was contagious, and we were all fortunate to have shared it. While his time with us was far too short, his legacy, his love for life, his friends, and his passions will live on in all of us. Rest in peace, my friend. We'll raise a glass for you, just as you would have done for all of us.
I was really hesitating about that. And to me, it's a real elder brother. Thank you. Since my two beloved brothers, elder brothers, they left a few years earlier, Trent has been my real brother. These few years, whenever I have tough business decisions to make, I have good things to share, and the happiness, exciting moments to share. Trent was my brother, call anytime. Now I have that person. Yeah. I knew King Cliff earlier, back to 1995, 98, my first Vietnam job in Nikon factory, and he was my customer in Adidas, and Trent got me into my first innovation job in Adidas, 2003, and also got my first production job in Crocs, 2013, and since then we really connected with Trent as a close friends and the Zerk family as well. And I still remember most of the time we spent together were 2003, 2014 in his Crocs time based in Shenzhen, South China, and he lived on himself. So every day we work together, and every evening we stay together, and and the weekend we stayed together. At that time, I did not have a child, so I had enough time. And then after class, I started my own business. He's the one as my ex-boss, as my mentor, as my business partner, and as my truly elder brother. Without him, I couldn't come to where I am today. It's all great memories about you. And I had so many first time with him. First Thanksgiving, first Broncos. I think going forward, I hope I'm still a member of their family. And you still have a family in China. Thank you. Oh, rest in peace.
Roberto, as a recent more previous speakers, I only had a weekend with friends. I met them 4 or 5 years ago. And a chance meeting, and we hit it off about 1 o'clock. All I hear is something. I'm very happy about what we started. I wasn't well aware of how it was a great opportunity, and thank you for the opportunity. What my memories of Trent is just a repeat. He loved his sport, he loved his alcohol, and he loved his politics. You know, that's what I remember. They're my memories of him. But also, I'd say, very generous, very hospitable. Could have been an Irishman. And the other thing that I was convinced of that sort of bothered us a little was the fact that I came to the American fairly late in my life and have adopted this country as mine. Because of all the places I've ever been around the world, this was the place I really enjoyed. And on a trip was understanding. And perhaps that wasn't talked about, but something I think that maybe just wanted to. But not the length of experience with them, but I regret that there's not many more years to come. The scheme of things, it's just, my God, so many years. But let's be happy. You know, in Ireland we have a wake. It's a celebration. I see this high emotion here tonight. And that's just, that's how he affected people. You know, he was a great interpersonal guy. I can see that with the demographics of the races and age groups and gender here in this afternoon. So yeah, he was a people person, without a doubt. So I was very flattered and very honored to have this opportunity to talk. But I thank you, and I hope that we can be here at some stage.
You guys hear me in the back? Fantastic. So my name is Kevin O'Donnell, and I've been friends with Trent for almost 20 years. Hard to believe. I've been here in Vietnam. Family met at a home church in the BP compound. And I'm jet lagged out on my mind, so I took some notes because I don't trust myself to share everything that I really want to down the street. So apologies in advance. So, you know, like all of you, I've been in shock in the morning over the loss of Trent, just these past few days. In my long flight from Miami on the way over to Vietnam, I just tried to jot down just some random thoughts about Trent, about who he was, about what he meant to me. And finally, how I might honor him with my words, and how he might want, how he himself might want to be remembered by us. And so, apologies, these are a little bit rambling, but heavy heartfelt. I want to share that with you. And so, the first thing I wanted to pass along is that somehow miraculously, after meeting Trent, he decided that he wanted me to be his friend. And I, in my life, have never been pursued by anybody like Trent to be his friend. I've never seen anything like it. To be honest, he's an inspiration to me. When I want to be somebody's friend, I don't just want it, but I reach out, I call them, I share things with them, I try to become part of his life. He pursued me. And so, just again, a few random thoughts about Trent that I put together on the plane. So, you know, from his youth, many of you have mentioned that, you know, he had a zest for life, and you know, he got an early taste of the global life. You know, growing up in London, you know, he was an expat kid there, and during those formative years, He was an amazing athlete. I wish I could have seen him play basketball. I hope somewhere on some remote hard drive was a clip of him playing basketball because he was a phenomenal athlete. And despite not be popular to say, but I'm going to say it, he was a man's man. He wasn't ashamed of it at all. And he didn't suffer fools lately. I suppose he was known him well. He was, many of you have mentioned his politics. He was conservative. He was solid in that regard. He was no nonsense, no bullshit kind of guy. The other thing that I always admire about Trent is that he was a lifelong student. For those of you that know him, the guy never stopped learning. He never stopped being curious. He never stopped asking questions. He never stopped reading. He had an absolute passion for current events and for geopolitics. He turned me on to so many different books, podcasts, news feeds, other resources that to this day are part of my life and I pass on to my own children and other people that I love. He was also a serious person that really followed through. I mean, of anybody that I know on this planet, I cannot think of anybody like Trent who, when I told him that I really enjoyed reading a book or I really enjoyed watching a YouTube video, he didn't just nod and say yes, he actually did it, and he would follow up with me and share what he thought about it. He was, as you all know, he was an accomplished businessman. He was an old Asian, and I say that kind of longingly because he discovered Asia long before I did. And he was an early pioneer in footwear and apparel offshore, going back to the 1980s and 1990s. I can remember, when I met him, I worked for Nike, and some of the things that I read about in books that I thought were like legendary ancient history. Trent was kind of there at the creation. He knew so many of those people that I read about in the 90s. Shifting gears a little bit, as I was kind of alluded to, Trent was a road warrior. And he was a global traveler. He had passion for that. Trent loved his family deeply. He loved Zach, Sabrina, Zoe. He loved his brother Ralph. He loved his cousin Perry, and many, many more. And he loved Shelley. He really loved Shelley incredibly during their time together. And he loved Twee. He loved Twee so much, and they were simply amazing together. They truly complemented each other. In my view, they created a 1 + 1 equals 11 kind of unlock. They were magical. Trent loved people. He was a network builder, and he has a vast global network of friends and contacts. Only a tiny fraction who are here in this room. He was a person who loved life. He had a huge passion for so many different things, not in any particular order or priority. He loved sports. We heard about the Broncos. He loved exercise. He was a lifelong workout, gym guy, exercise guy. He loved food. He loved business. He loved travel. He had a passion for excellence. He pursued excellence. And he had an amazing sense of humor. He was wicked funny. And it was an irreverent humor, which I personally appreciated. I'm sure he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But he was courageous. He was not afraid to speak his mind. He didn't care if he offended people. He stood up for what he believed in. He didn't care about political correctness. He didn't care. He was super generous. He was generous in mind and grace. He was generous with his time. He was generous with anything. Even some of the man person that he was gifted with that he didn't think quite fit him, he would pass along to me. And he would go way out of his way to see me, to talk to me, and to support me. My wife and I were just recently in Thailand. My brother has cancer, and we took an unexpected trip there, and I'm going to try really hard not to cry when I say this. He offered to fly to Thailand to see us. And I regretfully say that I didn't take him up on it because we had such a busy schedule. I didn't know if there'd be a window. I wanted to see it. Whenever he was in the States, he would fly to me. I wanted to fly to him, he would fly to me to see me. Just another example that comes to mind in terms of just the unique generosity. There's so many different things that he touched me with in my life. But during my family's time in Guangzhou, I always admired his amazing hi-fi stereo. And I'm like, how in the world can I get one of these? And without missing a beat, he introduced me to his friend Vu. And the three of us had an amazing day in Hong Kong, picking Vu's, incredible IT brain and wizardry for high fidelity. And they helped me pick out a stereo, Bryant's amp, and Bowers and Wilkins speakers, and a system that I to this day still have with a voltage converter in the States after moving back. I think it still works. I still think about that. What you would think. Again, I'm rambling, but I'm going to keep going because I got to finish my notes here. His life was an adventure. He took him to Asia early. He was an expat kid in London. During his time with Wansex and other companies, and Lord knows where he went, all over the galaxy. And Trent loved a good drink, as some of you have also alluded to. And I've had many a fun memory, sharing drinks with him from different places and sampling his incredible account collection. When Trent learned that I was joining a huge beverage alcohol wholesaler, transportation, logistics, and insights company in Miami, he was over the moon thrilled. Regret the fact that I won't be able to host him in Miami. He was simply an incredible person. He was an incredible friend. The kind of person that I always want my back. And frankly, I go to the world like, I can't believe he's gone. But I also believe that, we were united in heaven. And his passing leaves just a simply gaping hole in my life and the life of all of you and so many others that can't be with us here today. I mentioned when I first started that he and I met at church, and some periods, others have mentioned his faith walk. Trent loved Jesus. He didn't maybe always advertise it. He was a deeply committed Christian. While his divorce shattered that faith for a time, he never lost it. And I believe that he's in heaven right now as we speak. No more pain, no more sorrow, no more tears. He was the one that turned me on to reading the Psalm and Proverb every day, which is a habit to start with for that. His cousin Harry reminded me in the depth of my own reading in recent days that God has a plan. God wasn't surprised about Prince passing last Friday. We have to trust that plan and lean into God for strength and guidance. And while I was looking forward to so many more years and decades with Trent and trying to trust God's wisdom, His timing, and His goodness and His planning, that took away Trent early than we all want. And again, I look forward to reuniting with Him in Christ's presence. I'm coming to a close here, so I'm going to relinquish this mic, but since Trent's passing, I've been really kind of thinking hard and reflecting a lot about how I think he might want us all to remember and celebrate his life. These are just some random thoughts from Kevin. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. They're just things that came to my mind on that long plane where I was already jet lagged before getting here. I think he wanted me to remember to know this life mattered. I think all of us are entitled to testimony to the fact that his life did matter. I think he wanted to really get meaningful impact and know that he was loved. God was loved beyond that, but all this and beyond. But I think he also wants to carry on. He wants to get stuck in our grief. He wants to have a drink. He wants to laugh. He wants to have fun together. And I think he wants to remember him always for what he meant to us, for the unforgettable impact that he left on each and every one of us here, for the incredible times that we shared together over the years.
I think we know each other. Some hardships, some memory. So every time we get together, we have few drinks and then we eat some jokes. And we have a lot of passionate debate about politics, about food, about a lot of things. So we are arguing about where the best oyster from, right? From Alaska, from France. He even managed to impress us by making some French cassoulet that you mentioned, right? He had a cassoulet in my house, and he was able to make the cassoulet himself. Later on, and impress us. When we were up going, he was calling us the Yank and the Frog. Frog was me. So yeah, we had a lot of good time, good laugh. We remember him for that.
and I was also remembering for the values, right? Earlier you talked about the values that he passed on us, passed on me, and very well, those values. Values like be generous, be faithful in friendship, helping the others in need, and somehow always try to do the right thing. So thank you for this trend, and thank you to everyone who organized this.
Well, I'm probably one of the person that know Trent recently. There's so many people here that knew Trent way long ago, but for me, I met Trent about 6-7 years ago, and through Shoe Dogs event actually, and he was just an incredible guy that I have to mention. Later, he became a business partner. So friends becoming business partner, and business partner becoming a mentor. So he was all of that to me. There's so many memories about playing golf with him, going out, having a drink, going to dinner, going to the event, shoot dogs and all that. And I mean, there's nothing that words can describe. It's just a lot. I mean, yeah, I was kind of, but anyways, yeah, rest in peace, Trent, and thank you so much for everything. Thank you. Brings me even more to all of us. Trent left behind his beloved, who we knew is extremely difficult for them during this time. Before I pass to Trent partner P2P, for words to everyone, P2P actually shared with me the text that he wanted to share with all of you, because he's just concerned that he's so emotional and what's going to come out. Yeah? But believe me, Trent is super strong and you too, so that's why we went together. So please give a big applause to motivate her, to make her stronger and be more confident, so that you can read your message by your own. Thank you.
Forgive me if I'm too emotional and I can't understand me. I think I feel better at the moment when I see everybody here. First of all, I would like to express my appreciation to everyone to be here for training. Many family members, friends travel a long way to Ho Chi Minh to support us. All the warm heart, all the kindness, tears, good story about Trent are very touching. I'm sure he can see it and hear us with happy smile. He is my partner, my soulmate, and a great dad of my 3 loving cats, Abby, Ozzy, and Herbie. We are 5 members spending great fun time together. We love to cook. I believe a lot of you participate into our dinner, and a lot of you know 3 cats from their very small until happy they are today. We love flowers, you can see, and Trent loves colorful flowers. So when I do this for him, and then I said, he needs orange, he needs sort of more color. People ask me, are you sure? I said, yes. And he likes orange because it's a part of Bronco color. He loves cats, so if you look around, there's a lot of photos about himself and cats. So when I'm happy, and he smiles. When I'm sad, he asks me to think of his funny, nonsense, bedtime story. This is not the end of the life story. We will have more and more story to tell endlessly. I know he's watching me and it's overwhelming. I'm so proud of Trent. He's a great man, a great partner, and a great father to his children. And somewhere we know he have an endless love, special care, and he will be his forever. Thank you from Chris, Herbie, Abby, and Auntie. Thank you.
I would like to invite you all to stand again. So we have all together and some few final words to Trent. We are so grateful for the time we spent with Trent. May we find comfort in the memories that we share, the love and surrounding us. Goodbye, Trent. You were deeply and truly blessed. May you rest in peace. Thank you. The family would like to inform and invite you to, if possible, to join the next action, the next program for training starting from tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. So the cremation will be on Saturday, meaning tomorrow, April 5th, 2025. Again, cremation will be start at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, Saturday, April 5th, 2025. For those who would like to join, please make sure you show up here sharply at 7 before we leave for the next session at 9:30 a.m. Before we officially singing off in a very beautiful Ubud Island, where we believe and John hoping and expectation to spend this lifetime there to enjoy the daily sunset in Ubud Island. So thank you very much everyone for coming up again, and God bless Trent. Thank you.